Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me? I can hear you.
I hear you, Robert. Robert, right?
Yes, it is Robert.
Okay.
Is it? Am I low?
No, you're fine.
Okay, I just turned it up. Also, how you doing this evening?
Oh,
Can you hear us? Yes,
I
ma'am.
hear you.
Yes, ma'am. I can hear you.
Okay, good. I need to. This is not too much glare, huh? Well, I guess it wouldn't bother you, right?
No, ma'am. You're good. I got it like over at the top of my screen, but I got it minimized, so you're good.
Okay. I guess I'm early,
That's okay. Hey, better get here early that way, because I'm gonna make it
but I've
short.
missed a lot of meetings,
Let's see. We got a few people.
Oh, are
coming
you?
in. Yeah.
I didn't even cook dinner yet. My grandson will be coming from the gym probably in about an hour.
Hey, man.
Hey,
Listen.
Graham, what's recording?
Hey, guys. Welcome.
Welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
We got probably about 4 more minutes. I'll kind of be respectful of time and allow everyone that's trying to juggle these late evening chores and things to do. Some of these offers. So we'll get started in about 3 more minutes.
Hey,
Hey,
hi
Laura.
everyone. I
Hey,
just want to let y'all know we're having a new agent meeting on the 11th, which is next week.
All right,
Wednesday.
that's Laura, guys.
The door prize will be a $215 gift a package for business cards, magnets, whatever you need, whatever's included in that package from Print Force One.
Print Force One.
So yeah, they're giving away an awesome package. So if you it's posted on the Facebook group. For more information, see that. If you want more, if you're not on Facebook, text me, call me.
Awesome.
I'll be more than happy to share you at El Sada's Mexican food restaurant.
What was the El Sada's one? What did you say about that? Oh, that's where it's going to be hosted?
Yes, sir. So come on down, have a great time. Hope to see you there.
What time is it, Laura? As I know, it's on the 11th at El Sada's. What time?
11 to 1.
11 to 1. All right. Are you going to hang on so I can give you the mic later, or you can talk about it again? Make sure everybody that's on can hear it.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a showing here at about 9 o'clock. So.
No, we'll be finished. It's going to be a short one. I'm only going to talk about commercial tonight. You know, I've been having a lot of people ask about commercial. A lot of people are starting to get some more commercial leads. So I thought I'd throw out there some good terms. So if you hear these, you know what they mean. So it's going to be kind of short. I think we can probably get through here within, 20, 30 minutes. So you should be good. And if not, I'll try to remain in one.
I got a client looking for a car wash.
Car wash it is. Everybody coming in. We got 1 more minute and then we'll get going. Got to get this thing recorded so we can get it on the webinar link so everybody could, the ones that can't make it, they can go out and take a look at it. You guys can see my screen, right? The commercial real estate terms and agents should know. Can y'all see that screen? Anybody?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, I see it.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
I didn't choose the colors, just FYI. I let my son do it this time, so that's on him. I told him the only thing I could do and make sure I do, I gotta put Texas United Realty up there. If not, I could let you pick some colors, and this was his pick today. All right. So we're going to probably have some people beep in as we go, but I'll try to go ahead and get started. Guys, thank you for your time. Welcome out to our webinar on today, August 5th. You know what? We're getting so close to school starting. It's crazy. I can't even believe it's August already, but we're here. I could take a little bit of that heat off, so I'm really looking forward to it and starting to cool off, get some of that fall-like weather. So we'll see how things go. But tonight, I'm not going to take up a whole lot of your time. I'm going to talk about some terms, and this is going to be a complete overview, right? We're going to have some examples, but we're not going to be able to pull out somebody's lease and go into the details about what this means. So definitely, if you have any questions, let's sidebar me, call me, or email, whatever works for you. We'll try to get all answers tonight, but if not, we'll try to put them on a back burner and come to you the next day or later on after this call, okay? But tonight, we're gonna be talking about the 5 commercial real estate terms and agents should know, high level, okay? So let's get started. All right, I'm still having people beep in. Hold on there on my screen. All right, let's go back. So the 5 topics that we're going to be talking about tonight is cap rate. I know you guys hear that. This thing can be manipulated. So you got to make sure you understand and don't just make decisions based off of cap rates, right? It's a good indicator if this business can earn you some money, but it's not the end game in terms of all your evaluations that you want to do, okay? NOR, this is a return on investment. All right, I'm going to put $100,000 into this, but how much money am I going to get back? So we want to know. Can you guys hear me? Okay, I heard someone talking. Was somebody asking a question? No, maybe not. Okay, so ROI, return on investment. I'm putting in some money. How much money do I expect to get on my investment? Okay. Net operating expense. You know, what is it costing me to do business, right? Or what is this looking like? And then we're going to talk about building classes, right? Building classes, you know, people, when houses, you know, they think their house is a mansion when it probably look different. Same thing here with landlords and buildings. They may think they look like the White House, but they look like the average Hertz chicken, who knows? But definitely, we got some examples to show you, or some classifications to talk about rather. And then commercial lease. There are different types of commercial leases. We got at least 5 that we're going to talk about today. But these are some of the topics that we're going to talk about. And like I said, we won't kind of go into all of them in depth, but we're going to get the understanding of what it is. So let's talk about cap rate. So how do you calculate cap rate? First, and I'm going to give you an example later, so don't worry, don't stress. First, we got to determine the property's gross income. And what that means is how much money is this place generating? You know, if you got an apartment building or a duplex or a multi-family unit, how much is those doors delivering to you altogether? Okay. Then you're going to subtract the expenses of managing and owning this property, you know, whether it's maintenance, whether it's a property manager, insurance, whatever it is that is costing you to manage this building. And then you divide the net operating income by the property market value, which, you know, you could name it yourself, or if you want to kind of, you know, have, you know, an idea of what you want to, you know, list it for. And then you multiply that results by 100, and it'll give you a percentage. Let me give you an example right here so you can see it. All right. So let's say, you know, you got a fourplex and they're bringing in $900 gross income. This is how much you're getting from your rent, okay? property management, you're paying $900. You want to subtract that. Okay, hold on one second. I got a few people joining. Property management, you want to subtract that. And then you got your maintenance, right? What is it costing you to maintenance this building? Okay,
You
and then
keep
every,
freezing up, Robert.
am I breaking up?
Yeah, breaking up or freezing, time to
Okay.
time here.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. It looks like it's moving pretty smooth on my end, but I would assume it's just the internet connection. Am I sounding better now while I'm talking? Okay, so hopefully we'll get some blessing. Hey, I ain't gonna lie. Every time that I do a video, it's like something quirky happens. I'm just waiting to see what tonight is gonna bring. But in any case, paying your taxes, you got $710 in taxes, and then you got your insurance. So if you deduct the 900 to 450 to 710 to 650 from the 9,000 which you're making on income, your net income becomes $62.90. Everybody got that? Any questions about that? And these don't have to be your expenses, whatever the expenses is, just take your expenses away, okay? Versus how much money you're making. In this case, it's $62.90, your net income. Take your net income divided by how much you want to purchase this price for. Say for instance, they got it listed for 100,000, or you want to list it for 100,000. Well, you use this, we don't have to go that far. You want to list it for 40,000, or the purchase price is 40,000. You divide that, and it comes out to 0.157, which equals, if you do the 100, it's going to be 15.7% cap rate. All right. So cap rate, gross income minus expenses equals to net income, divided by purchase price or list price, gives you cap rate. In this case, 15.7%. You know, people, there's this saying that if you got a high cap rate, you're probably going to lose some money. So that's another day, another story. What's a good cap rate? What's not a good cap rate? But in this purposes, we wanted to make sure you understand how the cap rate is, how it came together. Okay. All right. Any questions about that one? Cap rate? All right, moving on. So the next one, hold on, somebody's coming in. The next one, or did I skip that, is ROI. We kind of talked a little bit about this, return on investment. This is simple, right? Because this comes from a lot of investors. Somebody chatting. Hold on, let me see what the chat say. Oh, okay, gotcha. Thank you, Laura. Okay, so ROI is return on investment. It's simple. Most investors want to know, if I'm going to invest in you, I'm going to invest in this business, whatever you're trying to do, what am I going to get on my return? So you take your profit versus the amount invested. So after all this is said and done, you're going to equal to your ROI. So if you made, after all expenses and everything paid, everything that you want to do on your property, you got $40,000 and you invested $40,000. What is that return on your investment? Anybody? Nobody? Take a shot. Well, it's not 100%, right? Because if you had 100%, you invested, well, I say it is 100%, if you're not 200%. If you invested 40,000, you got 40,000 back, are you making money? You just broke even, right? That's all it is. You just broke even. You invested it, you got it back. Anything over the $40,000 is a return.
Even that's a blessing.
Oh, hey, come on, girl. That's my girl right there. I know Danielle always got something.
Right.
Come on,
Sometimes
come
even that.
Hey, you better
Sometimes
believe it.
that's even a blessing. You're like, okay, oh, thank you, God, for the lesson. Thank you. I broke even at least. That's okay.
Yes, ma'am. Because hey, and in real estate investment, you never know what can happen, right? But just know, getting your money back, like she said, is a blessing. If you go down, you're in a negative. You look down here, you're in a negative, you go below what you invested. Anything over it, very profitable. Okay. So, you can use this in investments, you can use this in marketing, however you want to look at it. What is the return on my investment? All right, let's talk about, hold on. All right, so let's talk about net operating income, okay? And this NOI. So net operating income is calculated using the profitability of the income generated in the real estate, but it really equals to the revenue from the property minus the reasonable necessary operating expenses. Let me give you an example of that, right? Because it's very similar to what you use when you're trying to get your cap rate, right? So tonight, I guess, is the freeze on my computer. Let's go, please. There we go. Thank you. All right. So income, rent, exceed, expenses, net operating income. Very similar to it is similar. It's the exact thing that you use when you're calculating your cap rate. Your income minus your expenses is the net operating income. All right. Here's a quick example. If I can get my screen to go over there for you. Am I moving too fast? Please say something. I don't want to continue to talk if you guys got questions. I would love to make sure that if I can get my screen to move, that we get all questions answered to a certain extent tonight. There we go. Thank God. All right. So, a lot of times when you think about net operating expenses, you want to figure out, how can I improve it? You can raise your rent, you can lower expenses. I mean, it's a lot of things that you can do. It's funny, I was talking with one of my mentees. He's in the process of buying like an 8-plex, and he was giving me all of his ideas on what he wanted to do to raise the net operating expense or income. He had some good things, and one of them was doing some washers and dryers, finding some way to add value. We had kind of talked about putting them in units and charging them for them, or building like a little wash house on site where people can go use. And you'll be surprised what something like that could do to draw more income to kind of offset your expenses and possibly lower expenses. Because if you get some better washers and dryers than what somebody would buy pretty cheap, you probably can save money on energy, water cycles, all kind of things. But in any case, you can get creative to do that. And here's an example. So the revenue is, meaning that your income is $1 million. Your expenses for that income is $400,000. All right. Then your net operating income equals to $600,000. So expenses minus income, net operating income. I can't repeat it enough, right? And then you got capital expenditures. You want to put some money to the side to make sure that you got stuff that may come up. You may need to put on a roof. You may need to do a AC or some major repairs that's not in your regular maintenance. You got to prepare for that. Debt service, sometimes you may have a loan that you're paying a note on, or you may use it to put a lien on it to make some money happen. You may have a what they call a hard money loan, who knows? But you want to put some money in there to cover some of your debt services. It can go into anything. So then when you take all of those things minus one another, this is your net cash flow. This is what money you get to say you're going to put in your pocket, or you want to put it towards something else. Net cash flow. Any questions about that one? Okay, pretty quiet group tonight. That's okay. We're gonna wrap this thing up here soon then, if that's the case. The next thing I want to talk about is,
I have
yes.
a quick question. Oh no, I'm sorry. My kid was screaming at me over here. Asking me for something. Question for you. Do you take out Uncle Sam's money out of what expense there, or do you just wait till the end of the year?
I would tell you, you want to set up some kind of program, but most importantly, get with your CPA. They can help you with that. Your reporting is really, really important, especially when you're dealing with these big dollars on what you report and what you don't report. But more importantly, they got a lot of what we call loopholes that can help you save from tax credits, things that you can write off. So I would suggest that you definitely partner with a CPA to get that best advice.
Thanks. You know that's always what Uncle Sam's waiting for.
Oh,
His
yeah.
portion.
Oh yeah. Thank God that we're not a one of them states where they're gonna be knocking on your door for capital gains. And you got 1031 exchange programs. I mean, there's a lot of ways, especially if you got a CPA, there's a lot of ways that they can kind of help you move your money to kind of be like some of these, the 1% of the world that don't even pay taxes. You're making billions of dollars and find a way not to pay taxes.
Yeah, you can ask Donald Trump for advice.
He's an expert. He probably got a book coming out next week on that. So you can't be mad at it. We're the same way, right? We want to find out how can we save the most money possible. We write off our offices out of our house, our gas mileage or oil, whatever we can find that you can, write off. You definitely want to do it. That's for sure. And if you're smart enough, you'll be breaking even sometime. But yeah, definitely partner with a CPA. And guys, in commercial, you're going to have some people on your team. That's not like a part of this conversation tonight, but in commercial in general, you're going to have to get some professionals, because you don't want to try to interpret or do anything outside of real estate, right? You want to have some good, strong lenders, because commercial can be tricky, right? And you got to have at least 20% down. You want to have a lawyer on staff, or someone that you can call to review your documents, especially when you have these contracts that are drafted that they're not Texas promulgated forms. You're going to want to make sure you get some help interpreting that and making sure that you're doing the right thing by your client. But at the end of the day, just take a partner. You got your mentors out there. You got myself. We got Richard. We recruit. So we're going to try to do our best to point you in the right direction. Just ask the questions. Okay. Anything else before I move on or something? I don't know, my eye is burning. All right, if nothing else, we're going to move on to building class. This is a good one because you don't hear this one being talked about a lot. If you start looking for commercial, you'll start to see A or a B or a C. And of course, the difference, that's how they name them. A is the best, a B is next, a C is after that, and a D is don't move in there. All right. But as a shorthand description, you can give to potential investors. It's all about age, location, finishes, amenities, condition, rates that you can get, sales price. But at the end of the day, these
This is a Robbie.
I'm sorry.
You want to up this board. They got a beef inside too. There's shrimp, tofu, tomato. You want to eat a cucumber and slice it too. I know.
Hey, I'm sorry. I don't know who that is. Can you mute your line, please?
I don't know. Country.
Somebody's making sandwiches or something.
I know, right? They about to make us all hungry. All right. So class A, And I'm sorry if whoever you are, I can't see all of my people because I got my screen up. But please mute your line if you're not asking a question or speaking, if you don't mind. Okay, so Class A, pretty much, new construction, or they recently remodeled it. You got the top amenities, they got high income, those buildings that want $25 to $50 a square foot, low vacancy rates, everybody wants to be in there. Luxury, great location, little to no deferred maintenance issues. So when you call them, they're gonna take care of the air conditioning. You don't have to worry about it. You're paying for it. All right. That's A class. That's the top of the
Like it?
line.
Do you like it?
Oh, God.
We like it.
Happy.
Let me find who that is and try to mute them. Okay, I think I might have gotten it. All right. Okay, Class B. These are a little bit older, but they're not bad. Few or added amenities. They trying to keep up with the big dogs, the A's. Middle income tenants. These are in decent condition. You think about these. Early 2000s, late 1900s. I mean, not late 1900s, early 2000s, and late 1995, somewhere around there. All right, decent condition. It's an investment opportunity because if you go in there and make some repairs, put some curb appeal into it, you can raise the value. We talked about that, how you can make some improvements to increase your income. And then you got some deferred maintenance issues, but generally well maintained. So these people, they come out, they probably got a property manager on site, but you got to go through a process to get things taken care of. These are Class B. So if you're out there looking and your client wants to have this new shiny building, you got to prepare them what to expect for price. But if they got one of those low budgets, they trying to get $1 per square foot, 50 cents per square foot a month. You can't expect the A building to give you that. Okay. Now, Class C will work for you, right? That's your older property. They're in desperate need of remodeling, need some infrastructure, some improvements. You got your lower income tenants. These vacancies last long. They sit there for years. Less desirable. They need a facelift. Now these, you can see them, down there to that $1 per square foot, a little bit less. But they're not going to be often, and these are not going to be on a highway. They're going to be tucked off somewhere with very little visibility. But it works, right? It's, some businesses don't need visibility, don't need a whole bunch of traffic. They just need a building. Now, there's one class that I don't have up here, which is the absolute lowest of the low, is the D buildings. And these are investment opportunities. Sometimes it be considered as your opportunity zones. These buildings need a remodel. They probably not even got a certificate of occupancy. They need a lot of work. But investors, they might love it because when you get those houses and those buildings that look the worst in the neighborhood, you go in there, put a little bit of money in there, bring them up to a standard, you can get a return on your investment. It's almost like flipping a building. Okay. Any questions about building class? Anybody out here doing commercial real estate, by the way? No? Well, I hope you guys are interested in commercial real estate. If you have any questions or need anything, definitely reach out to your mentor if you're a mentee, or you can reach out to myself and we can try to make sure we punch in the right direction.
I have one. We're looking for a car wash.
Yeah. Okay. I think we kind of talked about that one time. How have you been coming with the search?
Well, no, I've been my client was interested in one property off a telephone road, and I found the seller, and I was communicating with him, but he's not interested in selling, so he's asked me to look at other places. So, and I just got that email today.
Awesome. That's good. Well, if I could be of any assistance, let me know. But my favorite target search platforms right now, just to kind of get started, is LoopNet and then Comgate. Those are two good ones. I mean, there's tons of those out there. And if you guys ever wonder where you can search, there is a webinar link inside of our webinar classes that is Commercial 101. And I kind of put out there about 30 to 40 free websites that you can go to, and you don't have to have a membership to search. But I know everybody should be a part of HAR, which you can go at, in HAR and look through Commercial Comgate for free. You may not get all the details and the comps and things of that nature, but you definitely can get a high level overview of the property as you're searching, right? But there's definitely more. So reach out to me if you are interested or have any trouble trying to find something. I'll do my best to help you.
I have a question for you. Like, do you see like in the Class A properties that, get leased out versus the Class C? Why? I know you may not have the exact touch with those clients to see, is there truly a big difference in profits? Obviously, the Class A is more expensive, which is taking away from your profits. But like, is it, is it worth the money in investing in the Class A versus the Class C, or are they about the same when it comes to profits? I know obviously it depends on product.
Yeah, I mean, I can't express that anymore. It's all about what you're bringing in per door, right? Those Class A, those buildings are fresh. You know how we are. Just as in the residential, people live in a house so long, they want something new, right? And when they're scaling their business and they're looking to move, they want to get something new. And it all depends. Like, these Class A buildings are going to drive results because they get to charge way more money than what they would charge for a Class B or C building. You can go to some buildings like, I'll use Barker Cypress as an example. I live out here in Cypress. On Barker Cypress, you're going to average anywhere from $29 to about $52 a square foot, right? And some of those buildings are not even A-class buildings, those are B-class buildings. But because of where they at and the type of traffic and the people that want to be in those spots, they pay that price tag. And it makes it easier because, in these buildings, honestly, these landlords, and we're going to talk about that next, girl, you're good. You're going to translate over into the commercial lease, which is another way how you make money, because you structure your leases to where the tenant pays for everything. All right. So when you do that, when you go into a newer building, you're gonna find triple net leasing 90% of the time. And we're gonna talk about triple net leasing. That's when you're paying for everything. You're paying for the taxes, a portion of the taxes, a portion of the insurance, and a portion of the common area maintenance. All that landlord is responsible for is their roof and the air conditioning. So yes, there's no real true number that I can give you, but you do see higher returns on Class A buildings versus Class B buildings or C.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. I would imagine you see a Nell Place in a Class C and a Nell Place in a Class A. You may be like, well, I think the Class A maybe more offering more services, probably offers you the, champagne or something, or Guinness, I don't know.
Yes,
versus
indeed.
The Class C, you're like, did they even clean their,
their sink? Man, I'm telling you, you always bring good stuff. That is so right. It's the how they take care of the building, and how comfortable are you getting out and taking your money into this building? It's funny you say that, because some buildings you don't even want to go to. Just know, like, think about, I hate to say it, but just think about some of the title companies that we go to. You go to some title companies, oh man, they rolling out the red carpet. The building is nice, you know, it's renovated. They got the wood floors in there, all the pretty decorations. You know, you go to some title companies that you got to knock on the door and they let you. You gotta call them and they'll come down and let you in. But yes, there is a difference. So thanks for sharing. But let's talk about the leases too. So there are different types of commercial leases that you're going to experience. I'm just going to talk about the major 5 or 4 that I can talk about. And commercial leases are often long-term and they're costly, right? They're going to try to lock you into that lease for a minimum of 3 years. If they can get you in there for 5 or 7 years, that's what they're going to shoot for. But you may find some of those Class C buildings, once again, they desperate, they need somebody in there. They may accept a 1-year deal. But if you go to a Class A building, they're not giving you a 1-year deal. There's going to be probably a minimum of 5 years in the Class A. Okay. For this reason, it's imperative for leasing that real estate agents should understand the difference of leasing. Let's talk about that. I don't even want to go any further. So a full service lease, that's when, you know, the landlord is paying for everything. You'll probably find these more in those high rises where, you know, there's not a meter for electricity or meter for water in every single office suite. That's already cooked up into the lease. So a full service lease, all right? Landlord covers all expenses related to the unit space that is occupied by the tenant. Now, of course, rental insurance and all that personal stuff or personal coverage, that's not included. But for the most part, they're going to take care of everything else, right? A modified gross lease, similar, but the tenant pays rent plus a portion of the operating expense after the first year. So they'll give you a year to get started, especially if you're a new business and you're, you know, just trying to get your business going, or you're trying to adjust to the relocation. They give you a little time to get things going. So the first year they'll cut you some slack, but then after that, you know, come back up to the rate, the typical rate. Modified gross lease. All right. Any questions so far? All right, coming to an end. All right, so net lease, you're going to hear this. There's a single net, there's a triple net, a double net, and all it is whenever you hear another net, it's another expense. So the tenant pays for a portion of the operating expense in addition to their monthly rent. So I'll try to break this down kind of like what I just did earlier. It's simple. Triple net, meaning you're paying 3 things. Single net, go ahead. I think you understand that. So one net could be taxes. What that landlord is going to do, how many ever tenants are there, they're going to divide it up and you pay a portion of the taxes for that building for the year. Common area maintenance. You know, you could have, I don't know, they may include trash service. They may stripe the parking lot every now and then. They may pick up the trash from the trash receptacles in the parking lot or by your door. The grass trimming, the tree trimming, all that stuff can fall under common area maintenance. And they can call it whatever they want, but just your typical maintenance, right? And then your insurance. You got to pay for your insurance, your portion of the insurance for the whole building. And don't forget, you still got your own renter's insurance. So please don't just rely on a building's insurance, because they're only going to cover their butt, and you're going to be stuck with your own personal belongings fending for yourself. So triple net leasing, where you're paying more than one expense as a part of your lease. And then you got a percentage lease. Sometimes you'll find these in malls. It could be anywhere, to be honest with you. Everything is negotiable. But in any case, the tenant pays rent and a percentage of their monthly gross sales to the landlord. So if you're in there rolling, you're in the Galleria, and you're making tons of money, you're gonna pay some of that towards your rent.
I never knew that. Wow.
Yeah. It gets hectic out there. That's why you find a lot of those places in those malls and some of these retailers that they just can't afford it. You know, they do good in sales, but then, you know, if you didn't negotiate that percentage, or you're, you know, you got a crazy percentage, you end up bankrupting just by trying to stay in the building. So percentage lease. So there you go. 4 types of leases for commercial. And just so you know, hey, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody made up something when you go in there and you try to work a deal if they wanted to. Everything in the commercial world, unlike the residential world, is negotiable. Every single thing. Your commission, the terms, everything. I can't even tell you how much I've seen different than residential. All right. Well,
I have a
yes.
quick one last thing. When you can you give me like an example of how you ask some of the questions when us as realtors are calling for our clients and checking out, like, you know, the client gave us a number, we drove by for the client or whatever it is, and we called to get more information. They don't explain the triple net, or you have to ask for the triple net, because if you don't, then they don't mention it, and then later on it's like, surprise, like, well, you didn't mention that before. So can you bring up like some of the most common questions that, or ways of wording those questions, so that we can get the answers that we're looking for?
Yeah, I gotta tell you, man, that's a good one, girl. I tell you, that's great. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've been doing commercial for the last 5-7 years. It is definitely a relationship building, how can I say, industry. It's all about who you know, who you don't know, and also your understanding of the business. I gotta tell you, these commercial brokers are sharks. Okay. Number one, for some reason, they have a problem with a residential realtor doing commercial real estate. You know, and one of the biggest concerns that I know of, because I've heard them say it, is that the residential realtor just don't know what they're doing. But when you have those opportunities, you got to be really careful, because they will mess you, or I couldn't use the word I want to use. They'll screw you over your commission.
Take advantage.
Yes, thank you. They will literally take advantage of you. In your face, they'll be laughing, they'll be professional, and they will take advantage of you. One thing for sure is there's really no documentation about what their commission is. You know, some realtors may put their commission online, some of them may put them in their brochure, but it's hidden. You know, I have an account with CoStar, Comgate, and they just don't show these things, right? Now, you can call your coordinator or the regional person, they can probably tell you what it is, but at the end of the day, you just don't know. So it is so important that you get your agreement between brokers signed, right? Before you even get into the situation of negotiating a contract and all the other things, because if you don't get that thing signed before or during the contract process, there's a likely chance that they won't sign it. So in terms of making those phone calls, what I would tell you is evaluate the property good first. Right? That means come home, look on the internet, see what you can find, check LoopNet, check Comgate, find out all the information that you can find out. So when you call to talk to them, you don't sound like you don't know. You know, I'll give an example. I'm calling somebody, hey, how you doing today, sir? This is Robert Griffin with Texas United Realty. Hey, I see you got this building over here on Main Street. I noticed that you guys are asking $25 per square foot, and you guys are doing triple net, but I couldn't find where you guys, you know, said that triple net going to be. How much is it, by the way? Okay, great. Well, tell me about this property. How long has it been on the market? Because LoopNet, for some reason, has it as 31 days. Have it been on longer or shorter? Okay, great. Well, I do have somebody interested. I got to tell you, you know, that lease rate is a little bit more than what they want to spend, but I'm going to get them out there and see if they like it. If they like it, do you think there's some negotiation room there? You know, okay, great. No problem. All right. Well, what do I need to do to get this place scheduled? I got someone I think will work good for you. They're in the insurance business. They have 2 locations. They're looking to expand, and this could be their next possible location. I'll give you the details later, but let me just get them out there and take a look at it. Now, you ain't gave them no whole bunch of information, but now it seems like you're in control of the deal. You're in control of what you're trying to present to them. And it seems like you've done some homework. They'll be willing to kind of talk with you. You have a better chance. And some of them, they probably won't even say anything to that. You're going to have to adjust as the personality answers the phone. Did that kind of help out a little bit?
And then I kind of wanted to bring up how showings work with commercial a little bit, because as residential, we're so used to there being a lockbox. And
Yeah.
then, of course, many times you're having the agent meet there, right? The listing agent to the commercial property where they send somebody, or, and then they'll ask questions while they're there, right? And
Yeah.
sometimes questions that can be invasive, or that your client may have not been on their toes to answer.
Yeah, man, I totally agree. I gotta tell.
And so about the different ways of showing.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, showing is a little different. Most of the time, those commercial brokers, they're gonna want to come out there, especially if you got a really good client, right? They know that, you talk well, you presented the client well. This could be a possible good, relationship. They're going to come out there. They want to show the building. They're geared to try to sell that building. Some of them, if they think you're wasting their time, you don't know a whole lot, they're probably not going to come. They'll give you a code if there's a lockbox on it, because they just don't want to waste their time. But it could go either way. There are lock boxes in most cases, but that broker is going to want to come out and show that property in most instances when you are scheduling. Now, what I tell them is, hey, listen, I don't have a problem with you coming out, man. I can appreciate it. You can support me on this. I know you know a lot about that business. I can use your knowledge, but there's going to be a certain point in time in our walkthrough that I'm going to want to spend some alone time with my client. Is there somewhere you can go where we can kind of walk the building once you're done by ourselves and be able to converse about the things that we see? It's a little hard when you leave the building to kind of talk about it, but we definitely want to kind of, talk about it as we walk when you're done. Is that okay? And typically, they're not going to have a problem. They understand how this works, right? We have a broker relationship with our, prospective people, and you represent the buyer, so you shouldn't have any issues being able to spend some time in there once they finish their pitch. But I got to tell you, you're going to probably want to let them pitch it, because especially, for new agents or people that's not as well versed in commercial, those people can really help you. There's things about that building that they have been prepped on, things about that building that they know. They've been working that listing for a long time, and they can very well give you some key nuggets to help your client make the right decision or make their decision. It may not even be for that building. They may decide based off of information, this is not a good fit, or after seeing it, it might not be a good fit. So yes.
And you, sorry, I'm so intrigued. And other questions that I want agents to know as well too. What is the market like right now? How real estate, residential real estate is really hot. What is the commercial market like?
It's the same. I mean, it's
like
not
right now, because I could see that looks like a class C, but it's right off the feeder. And I'm like, how little can I offer this guy right now?
I gotta tell you, man, be honest with you, it depends on the type of commercial you're referring to. You got a lot of small businesses right now that are growing. Office space is really booming. Investments for smaller space buildings, anything lower than 5,000 square foot, you're seeing those move a lot. Leases in general is hot. Honestly, that's going good. Now, those big sales, you're looking at 30,000 square foot, you're looking at 600 acres and stuff like that. And typically in commercial, those deals are, they're different. they last longer on the market. You know, when you list a commercial property, you can expect a year or better. It depends on, you know, how aggressive you are with your listing and what your client wants. Because at the end of the day, you know, commercial is all about what the landlord wants or what the person wants for their building, right? Sometimes, you know, you don't really necessarily control that. You can make every effort to give them the CMA and asking price, but at the end of the day, they know what they need in order to make their profit or their net income. So you're at the mercy of them if you want to take those listings. And I'm not going to lie to you, in commercial, I will, you know, turn down a listing before I stick myself out there trying to accommodate a seller that's asking for something way too crazy. And I got to spend, you know, the difference in spending money in marketing in residential is totally different than spending marketing over in commercial. Just to list a commercial listing on LoopNet, just on LoopNet, if you're not a member, is $129 a month. What is it? Wait, I think I pay $79 a month, and I got discount. So I want to say it's $100 a month for 1 year commitment. That's just to list that thing, let alone, you know, the signage, any marketing, any campaigns you put into place. It could be pricey, you know. So you got to prepare and do the right thing with the listings. But in terms of availability and how fast it's turning, I would say the little smaller things, they're turning much faster than the bigger things, but it's still a hot market. There's still people out there opening businesses to this day. You know, I've got tons of people calling me about stuff. Some stuff I can't even help them with just because they're unrealistic with how much they want to spend.
Yeah.
So
do you have to put like a team together, or, you know, offer them, you know, how people are always looking for credit repair with residential? Do you have to have like kind of a business planner that you refer people to as well?
It all depends on what your client is. You know, that's the thing about this. You know, who is your client?
Because,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, I try not to, you know, steer anybody away. It's just like, you know, residential stuff. You kind of put each client in a certain category, work now, work later, put them with someone. It all depends. But it's good to have all resources available. Like in lenders, you know, I have, I don't know, about 4 or 5 different lenders that I work with, depending on what kind of money, what these people are looking for. In terms of title company, you can use really any title company, you know, but in most cases, they're going to have a lawyer, and the lawyer can draw up the docs and transfer the property. But what was the other piece of that question?
No, you got it. That was
Okay.
that was
All
good.
right. I'm trying to think that I missed something. I know we're talking about relationship.
No.
Yeah.
And then what kind of commission is the norm for
Commission can
each
vary.
end, and what does that process look like, and what are some interesting scenarios you?
Yeah, commission can vary. You know, in most cases, you're going to see the 3% out there just because, you know, that's pretty generic. But commercial can yield 4, 5, 6% on each side. It depends on what that agent negotiated with the principal, right? You know, the owner. But I've seen a lot on leases. I've seen a lot of 4 or 5% on sales. I'm sorry. Did someone ask a question?
No, I was just gonna say, yes, it wasn't a question. I
Okay.
said, I just did a commercial lease for a year, and it's 4%.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really not much money there when you,
But
that's a lot of work.
But see, that's for a year though. Most commercial deals are not going to be for a year in leases. If you do, that's definitely going to be like a Class C building, because a Class B and A building, they're not going to let a tenant go in and stay a short period of time, and they got to fix it up when that person leaves. Most on the average, when you see a lease, honestly, it's going to be mostly like 3 years. Right, that's when you did good. If you can get your buyer or your tenant into a 3-year lease agreement, you did good by them. And Lord knows, if you get them into a 1-year option to 3-year, you did very good. But typically, you're going to see 3 to 5 years. And if the landlord got the better hand, you're going to see 7 years. And with those 5-year, 7-year terms, I'll just give you an example, right? Say, for instance, you know, you got a deal all in, your buyer tenant is spending right at, you know, let's say $2,000 a month. You know, that's going to escalate over a year, but we're just going to use 2,000 as a number. Let me get this to you. So 2,000 times 12, that's $24,000 a year. Right? You take that times 5 years, right? That is $120,000 for 5 years, right? And then you take that times 4%, you're looking at $4,800 for a lease.
Really?
Yes. That's on the low end, you know. There ain't too many leases out there. Like, it's got to be an office building or something small, 1,000 square foot, 800 square foot for it to be 2,000. Most cases, you know, you look at a lease, you're looking at about $8,000, you know, on the average, you know, on an A building, right? You're talking about $8,000, $8,000 a month times 12, you had $96,000, right? You take that. You take that $96,000 times, you know, the regular 5 years, you're at $480,000. Take that times 4%, you at $19,200. And the thing that I like about commercial, which can be a little.
Last thing. I would love for you to do like a class on how to like screen your clients, so that you're not wasting time, because there's, you know, sometimes newbie entrepreneurs that are like, I want to start a barbecue restaurant, right? And you know, you don't want to take them to see all these, you know, places and all these phone calls and all these things, and you know, hey, they didn't have the money, they don't have the credit, they don't have this, or they don't have that, or they're
it's tough.
About their expectation. Pretty cool class to have from you.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to have one. I told Rick, I'm not the best at this, man. I just like sharing. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a person that I believe in humility. You know, I've done a lot of different transactions. I've been in real estate now 20 years. I've been with Texas United 15 years. So my goal is, I know how I was as a new agent, and I can't be everything for everybody. But when I'm in front of you or when I'm with you, I'm going to try to give you what I got. And I plan on trying to put out some more commercial stuff for that reason that you just said. You know, I'm seeing a lot of our new agents starting to get some leads, and nobody want to turn down a lead, especially if it could be good. You know, I do try to tell my newbies that I would like for them to learn residential first, just to kind of get some exercise at real estate, right? But some of these people come from a background, they just can handle it. You know, they know what they're doing. And that's great. But it just makes it easier once you kind of know a little bit about real estate to kind of juggle in that commercial world. Because if you don't, I mean, you can get ate up, you can get yourself into trouble. Hence, one of the reasons why we want you to partner with someone. So my goal is to try to, you know, come on. I know I had envisioned that this was going to be a 20-minute call, but right now we're at an hour. So I want to make sure that I be respectful of everyone's time and try to keep it interesting, because I know I can be a little talkative. But when it's information, like when you get on the calls, you make me feel like I'm doing something, because you're going to ask those good questions. And we never know what we don't know until we ask. So I like putting it out there. But I am going to try to put out more commercial content doing these webinars as we go forward, for sure. So Any other questions?
Yeah, Robert, I have a question. What do we have
I can't hear you.
I'm so sorry, we can't hear you. Yeah, we can't hear you.
Turn your mic up, maybe.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you better. Yes, sir.
Yeah, my question was, what do we find recording?
Is it me, guys, or is he gone? Okay.
Yeah,
I
it
can't-
sounds very at all. Like I hear the very beginning and then it just trails off and you hear nothing.
I'm sorry, sir. We're hard to hear you. But if you can, my number is on the screen there. If there's an opportunity, sometime tomorrow or tonight, it depends on how long the question may be. I'll try to answer it for you, but I can't hear you right now, though, for sure. But here's my number. Hold on, maybe you wrote it down here. Let me see what this says. Okay, you'll call me next time. Okay, I got you. All right. All right. And Brandon, I see you. How you doing, sir? There is not a step-by-step guide yet, but we're gonna work on trying to put something together for everyone. Kind of like what D said. We want everybody to feel comfortable in all transactions, and we're into real estate to maximize our potential. And eventually, I think everybody's gonna want to do some commercial because it's just you're dealing with, in most cases, business owners. And if you got the right business owners, they taking care of their business, they saving their money. Like we got one of our agents, he's in the process of buying, he leases his building that he's in, but he's in the process of buying this building and another building next to it. And that's awesome because that's what you want to do. It's just like, you know, when we tell ourselves we don't want to rent anymore, you know, we don't want to be paying somebody else's house out. If you can own your own business, own your own building or your strip center, why not you get someone to help pay for your building? It's a good question. Because these guys, I will share this with you real quick, and then I'm going to tell you guys about the new realtor thing that's coming up next week. But I had a guy, right? I did a restaurant, really good deal. The guy was so cool, man. He was like, hey, Robert, man, if you do good on this restaurant, I'm going to give you 6 of my other properties. I was like, okay, cool, man, I can do that. So I got his deal done, and I was after talking to him about properties. And this guy was out in California. He's somewhere in his garden watering his plants. And I asked him, I said, hey, these buildings over here, this is over on Telgu. This guy owned the whole strip, gas station, 6 buildings, another little building over there to the side. And I just started doing the calculations of the rent. And I know what my guy was paying, and I know what the rates are over there. And this guy was literally in this building that he bought way back in the 80s sometime, literally was making $70,000 a month off of these buildings. And I'm talking to him, and he in his garden in California just watering plants, you know, telling me what he having for lunch. Can you phantom $70,000 a month for income? It's great, man.
But it's because he set himself up that way. He made the right
Exactly.
investments. He took the risk. He had the idea, you know, so he definitely put himself in some form of debt or saved his put towards that and all that good stuff. So yeah, I mean, but look at what a beautiful position he was in later on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And really what he did was, I think he started off a restaurant, right? And then he just started building onto it. He knew that when he started his restaurant that he didn't want to pay the fees and he wanted to own. So instead of him just settling with just paying someone else's rent, kind of like what we are helping people decide to do, rent is okay. I get it. You know, you have to lease, you know, you can't always buy. All right. But he saw the opportunity where if I'm going to buy this building or pay some money on this building, I might as well just own it and get all these other tenants to pay it off for me. And I don't have to pay rent Plus, I'm gonna make money off of it. I have it paid off in 5 years, and then from there on out, I'm gonna be getting return on investment into the wazoo. So yeah, but we can talk about that later. I'm an hour and 5 minutes into your time. Man, you guys have been a blessing. I really appreciate you coming out, listening to me. I know I can be a little winded, but I really like sharing. You know, like I said, if I can help somebody, I would. I know I'm probably not everybody's taste, but at the end of the day, I'm going to do what I can to pour into you. And if I can't help you, I will. But I want to remind you guys, Laura is maybe jumped off the call, but there's a new agent meeting on August the 11th. August the 11th is from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. August the 11th, and it's at the El Salvador Mexican restaurant on Mason Road. El Salvador or El Esador, sorry, restaurant on Mason Road, 3750 South Mason. There is a little door prize that they're going to be giving away, and then they got a big drawing for some marketing material up to $215 from Pimp Force. Okay, so that's on the 11th from 11 to 1, El Esador Mexican restaurant on Mason Road, 3750. All right. Anybody have anything else before we let you guys get to the rest of your day? Or the rest of your night?
No, thank you.
Okay, it was a pleasure, guys. Thanks for listening. Hopefully I was helpful a little bit. And if you think of anything that I did not answer, definitely reach out to me. But you guys have a blessed night, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Okay, thanks.
All right, bye-bye.